So, the royal household have recently published its annual financial statement, also known as the Sovereign Grant Report, for the financial year of 2023 to 2024. So for those who don't know, the Sovereign Grant is the funding provided to support the official duties of the sovereign and maintain the occupied royal palaces. In other words, it is a grant given to the royal family by the government. This year's Royal Financial Report also includes a dedicated amount to fund the 10-year resurfacing of Buckingham Palace, which is now currently in its 8th year. And the reason they want to update Buckingham Palace is because they want to protect it for future generations. So according to the royal family's website, this year's statement covers a period which included moments of national and international celebration, including the coronation of their Majesties the King and Queen in May 2023, and His Majesty's state visit to Kenya in October 2023 as well. The royal family's website has also mentioned that the new financial report also reflects a time of unforeseen challenges for the royal family, as both the King and the Princess of Wales stepped back from public-facing duties temporarily to prioritise their treatment and recovery from cancer. We also hope that the Princess of Wales and His Majesty the King make a full recovery soon. So yes, here is your breakdown and easy guide to the royal family's new financial report from 2023 to 2024. So, over the course of this year, some 2,300 official royal engagements were carried out in the UK and overseas despite the health challenges of the royal family over the past year, according to this new financial report. So, the total taxpayer-funded sovereign grant in 2023 to 2024 was 86.3 million. This is made up of 51.8 million of the core funding and an extra 34.5 million for resurfacing of Buckingham Palace. So some of you may or may not already know that there is meant to be a shoot up in sort of like sovereign grant funding. But just to clear this up, this does not mean that the king is getting a pay rise. Let me just explain. So each year, the royal family, they surrender all profits from the crown estate to the government. Every year, the royal family receive a 15% cut of that grant. The rest of it is kept by the government. Yeah, I know, the government are richer than the royal family. This 15% funds their official duties. So to do the maths on this, the profits for 2023 to 2024 were 312.7 million, and then the royal family received a 15% cut of that, which is 86.3 million in return. However, in 2 years' time, the sovereign's grant will be lowered from 25% to 12%, which will mean that the royal family will receive a lower sort of percentage of the sovereign grant. Basically meaning that 900 million will be given from the Crown Estate to the Treasury, which is owned by the government. So in 2 years' time, the remaining 132 million will be kept by the royal family to fund their duties, and yeah, that's a very small cut considering what the government just took. I want to credit Not a Royal Expert for that information. He does a really interesting TikTok page and Instagram page explaining, how the royal family is funded in a really simple and easy way. So if you want to watch that after this video, get a little bit more information, definitely I'll put his links, his social links in the description so you can go check it out. Anyway, let's continue to break down this financial report. Anyway, so the official net expenditure by the monarchy for this year in particular was 89.1 million, which is a fall of 18.4 million or 17% from the 107.5 million from 2022 to 2023. Again, this is a cut from the government, not your pockets. So the royal family spent a total of £800,000 on the King and Queen's coronation. Again, that brought in absolutely millions to the economy, so it was basically all paid off for anyway. The British royal family paid 523 staff out of the sovereign's grant this year. The royals spent around £27.9 million, which was a wage bill for royal staff. This was up 800,000 from 27.1 million from the previous 2022 to 2023 financial report. The British monarchy spent a total of 2.6 million on hospitality and housekeeping for the royal household, which was up 200,000 from 2.4 million. The royals spent a total of 4.2 million on royal travel, which was up 300,000 from 2022 to 2023. The most expensive journey that the King and Queen did in this year's financial report was their visit to Kenya, which alone cost just over £166,000. Most of these visits are by instruction of the government and again are paid for by the sovereign grant, again a cut from the government to the monarchy. And at this point you're probably like, wow, this is so much money. The royal family, they spent literally so much money on literally nothing. But the monarchy get a 15 to 25% cut of what the government give them. So therefore, the government takes the majority of it, the monarchy gets a small cut. Again, they're considerably cheap compared to the government, if you look at it like that. If you want to break it down further, the monarchy cost us around £1.29 per person in the UK. And if you want to look at the core sovereign's grant, about 77p per person. So now we've done expenditure, let's have a look at how much correspondence they received, number of, engagements, and proportion of staff working in the palaces. So the King and the Princess of Wales alone received a total of 27,000 well-wishers from across the world. During the coronation period, the King and Queen Camilla got approximately 31,000 well-wishes from members of the public and across the world. The royal household replied to around 138,000 letters of correspondence throughout the year of 2023 to 2024. That is a lot, I've got to say. The reason this is in the Sovereign's Grant Report is because the British royal family have to actually pay, like you and I, to send a letter back to someone. So the proportion of staff from ethnic minority backgrounds working for Buckingham Palace alone was 11.9%, compared with 9.7% in 2022 to 2023, and the royal household's target is 14% by 2025. This contrasts with the 14%, which is the proportion of staff from ethnic minority backgrounds that work at Kensington Palace. For 2023-2024, the British royal family hosted 105,000 guests that attended over 400 events across all of the palaces owned by the state. The Prince and Princess of Wales also have 66 staff, which is up from 50 from 2022 to 2023. So there you have it, the simple breakdown of the royal family's recent financial report from 2023 to 2024. Probably sitting there going, wow, they spend so much money, but actually the royal family bring in absolutely billions per year. They've brought in profitable stuff. I think somebody mentioned that they've done a wind farm which brought in 1 billion pounds. I must also say that the royal family also use the Sovereign's Grant to pay for their patronages, charities and that kind of stuff. So again, that goes basically back into the economy to help the general public. So all in all, the royal family are very cheap to run, they're very profitable, and they're also a very important part of British heritage and British tradition, so they're very, very, very important to the British economy. So for those of you that don't also know, the sovereign grant is funded by the taxpayer in exchange for the King's surrender of revenue. So basically that means that the King gives up his private revenue that he makes from the Crown Estates to the Treasury, which is owned by the government, and then the government give the royal family back a small cut, and then the rest is obviously for the government's disposal. And obviously at the end of the day, the royal family, they do spend, some of the money on themselves, but most of the time it's to fund their official duties, to fund, their lifestyles, and it's also to fund, their patronages as well. So a lot of it does go back into the communities that they help as well, which I think is really lovely. And if you're wondering what the government spend their money on, use it to fund schools, use it to fund NHS, hospitality, and they obviously do spend it on themselves as well. But all in all, the royal family receive a small chunk of what the government receives. So all in all, the royal family are not taking all of your money because they literally take a small percentage of what we pay tax-wise to the Treasury, where a small cut is given to the monarchy to do their official duties, and then the rest obviously is given to the government. The royal family also bring into the economy more than they spend anyway. Anyway, that is the end of the video. We hope you found that video informative, and yes, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are, and we hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!